Like when the camera goes on, the spirit speaks, and my impulse is to put a lid on it. Hello. Ah. My brain has been churning a lot this week. And I've been super aware of my brain churning a lot, which I think is a good thing. Awareness is key. Yeah, I've been reading this book, The Untethered Soul, and it is a fantastic book, and it's also making me very hyper aware of what's going on up here. It's a lot, like in the beginning of the book, it talks about the witness, being the witness, seeing your thoughts as they pass by, and rather than identifying, just constantly watching them, and within watching them, you realize that movie is always going on. And I've just been really aware of those moments where I'm just going through the routine, and then all of a sudden I'll be like 20 minutes have gone by, and I snap to, and I'm like, what was I just thinking about? Like, what was just going on in my brain that it's just like I went into a trance, and that's definitely been going on this whole week, is being caught in a bit of a trance, and I don't know if you all can relate, but being in these really beautiful states, feeling great at the beginning of the day, but when you get to around nighttime, me and my friend would always talk about, once it gets around nighttime, that's when the demons come to play. I don't know why that is at nighttime. It's one of the main things that I have discovered, which I now have broken the habit, but at nighttime, and I don't drink alcohol anymore. I don't drink alcohol now. And I noticed that though, me wanting to drink at nighttime is when it comes up. And also what comes up is wanting to fulfill sexual desires, which there isn't anything inherently wrong with those desires, but one of the things that I have found that is not a benefit to me personally is watching pornography. That was a really strong habit of mine, to always constantly cycle to that place of pornography. And when I was able to to not shame myself, but to really recognize the reasoning behind why I watch it. And there is this, when I first watched pornography, I remember when I was young, and because I was raised in I believe this is why, is this Christian upbringing where wow. What I'm bringing up right now is bringing up a lot of fear, because I'm just thinking of what people will think about it, but this is why I do these things. So yeah, like I was raised in a Christian upbringing, which I don't think there is anything wrong with that. However, I noticed that there was a lot of shame that I felt around my sexuality and how I viewed sex, and what I felt come up within me was this feeling of the taboo, where it's like I wanted to watch, like I didn't know what pornography was until I came across it when I was young, just like by chance, and I felt scared. I felt like God was watching me, or I was going to get scolded. And man, this is heavy. Yep. I was afraid that I was going to get scolded, and so it became this fear of mine to let anyone know that this was happening. So through that became a lot of shame anytime that I would watch porn, and that turned into a cycle. That turned into a shame cycle where my whole life I would seek that out and be so, it would like bring more of the thrill behind it. And as I got older, I realized, like, wow, this is an issue. This is becoming like an addiction, and it's like I'm seeking that taboo constantly. So all that being said, it was around the beginning of the pandemic. I noticed this coming up, that I was like, I want to stop this addiction. I want to stop feeling shame, one, for looking at pornography, and also just like in those moments of being sexual with myself, guilting myself for feeling those things, feeling those desires, and then I just thought, well, this doesn't really like help me also just as like how I view women either. I feel like there's nothing wrong with people who do, but what I found is that my mentality really, it created a distorted view of sex. I think sex is a very sacred thing, a sacred act, and I feel like pornography distorts that thing of words of sex being a sacred act. I think it distorts that, and it makes it very just like smoking a cigarette, or just not being conscious about it. And that's what I was discovering, is I was just not conscious in those moments. And so then I finally, my intuition was speaking to me to give it up, to just circle back. Nighttime is when those things up, when I want to watch pornography, when I want to drink. And those moments where that thing comes up, you know, the initial feeling is to just not think and just do it, and then all of a sudden it's like an hour's gone by and you're like, whoa, what happened? And so what I'm finding, as it's now been since January of 2020, wow, it's I know it is, and I realize it is an addiction, because it just keeps showing up for me, and it's like a day-to-day thing. Sometimes it doesn't show up, but I realize that when it is really showing up is when I'm trying to distract myself with like things to do, and then I'm realizing, wow, this is the moment, this is the time where I need to get quiet. I need to get quiet and still and just listen. So I released that. Yeah, you know, if my family watches this video, I definitely feel they're gonna learn some new things about me. Oh man, I guess that's one of the hard parts about it, is just revealing yourself and being authentic and being grounded. And it's like the camera and me, like when the camera goes on, the spirit speaks, and my impulse is to put a lid on it. And this is why I think these moments are so beautiful to be having with you, and for me to share with you my vulnerability. And I will constantly try to normalize truth for myself. Normalizing truth for what I believe. And hey, I'm not saying that this truth is fact, but yeah, I've said this once before, but truth is love. And I will always, I was gonna say I will always try. I'm like, no, I will focus on being true. So, oh, I need to shake it off, man. I love to hear your comments if you've dealt with these kind of feelings as well. If you're resonating with any of this, I'd love to keep the conversation going. I think that's where more healing can happen for the both of us. Or just a chat. It doesn't have to be super heavy or anything. But yeah, I love you all, and I will see you next week.